Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. Today I'm taking my kids out for a nature study and I thought that I would just take you along because ever since I began questioning the narrative, I've looked at things in a much different way than I used to. And I just didn't know if we would find anything interesting here. Yesterday my daughter was out walking on another trail and she found some what looked to us like oyster shells. Which is interesting because when I looked it up, I saw that oyster shells are only in salt water. Oysters can only live in salt water, and there is no salt water around us. So if I am correct, and they are oyster shells, could that be evidence of the Great Flood? I think that it's very possible, but let's just see what interesting things we can find along the way. Oh yeah? So right now we're walking on a little path that's actually off of the original trail. My daughter found a building over there. And that's one of the really neat things about living around here. We have so many trails. We have a canal. We have the cave that I made another video about. So if you live in an area like this, take advantage of it and explore it because you seriously don't know what you'll find. It looks like there's a dead end on this, and it takes you though to a spectacular view of the river. This is the Lehigh River here. Luke, I wouldn't go down there if I were you, especially you're wearing slides.
There's land down there.
There's what?
There's land down there. Yeah, look at it.
Well, yeah, but he's wearing slides, so I don't think that's a good idea. We're not going to go down there today.
Yeah, he's gonna slide.
Yeah, he's going to slide in his slides.
Wow.
Nature study is actually one of my favorite things that we do in our homeschool because it allows us to just get outdoors, get some fresh air, and to just explore the things that we're dying to explore all winter long, but we're shut inside, not being able to do it. One of the things that we do when we're out on nature study is we just look for animals. Sometimes we will notice animal tracks, especially at the canal, we can find them. I also have an app called Seek, and that is supposed to identify trees and plants, insects. I have to admit though that it's not very good at identifying at least the plants around here. I don't know why. Maybe there's a better app. If you have a suggestion for an app like that, let me know. It's pretty good with insects, but what I found is that it just gives very generalized names for the plants around here, and I would like something more specific because really that's the whole point of having the app. I have to admit that this one is not my favorite path. It's probably my least favorite path that we take. It's still nice. It's only, I think, maybe the second time that we're on this one. But the reason that I don't like it as much is just because the other trails that we take are bordered by mountains, like right next to them, or the river or the canal. And this one doesn't have as much to look at. And also the other trails that I take have a lot more huge rocks, especially obviously the one by the mountain. And I like to look at the rocks because, you know, when you're looking into the whole melted building possibility or into the possibility that rocks are giant petrified trees or huge pieces of petrified wood, I really like to especially investigate that with my children. And yeah, here, even though it's pretty and you can hear the birds chirping and everything, there isn't as much in that realm when it comes to this path. But still, you know, every chance that you have to go outdoors where you live, you really should take it, because I think that we get so used to just living our day-to-day lives that we don't actually stop and look at what's around us. And not only that, we need to look at things with new eyes, especially those of us who have been awakened to the lies we've been told. And really, it's almost like being a child again and looking at the world with wonder. One not so scenic view that we have along this trail is the sewage treatment plant. But down here farther, there is the little airport, and there's lots of, I think there's even, like, you could call it an airplane graveyard, an airplane junkyard. So the kids like looking at that. And they like, obviously I don't let them get up too close to it, but you know, we used to live in the city before we moved here. About 2.5 years ago. not in the city like where there's no trees or anything. We were kind of on the outskirts of the city, but it's something new for all of us to enjoy. Now this is one of the things that I wanted to show you. This path, this trail that I'm on, is called the DNL Trail, and it's called that because it was paved next to what used to be a railroad. I think it was probably the DNL Railroad. I think that stands for Delaware and Lehigh. But as you can see, here's an old railroad track or railroad tie. I don't know what you would call them, probably a track. And even though this railroad was operational, you know, several decades ago, you can already barely see it. And so that's why I can never understand why people are so incredulous at the notion that there were other civilizations here before us that were just hidden, because things really do get covered up so quickly around here. And if you weren't already aware that it was there, you wouldn't even know to look for it. Even when it comes to those railroad tracks, I probably would have never noticed them if I didn't know that they would have been there anyway. So right here, we're coming up on more of these old railroad tracks. And again, you know, in just a few decades, you can barely tell that they're even there. And you know, my older kids, they don't enjoy being in the videos as much as they used to. So they're kind of hiding behind me. My younger kids don't care. But that's actually why I don't make like my day in the life vlogs or anything anymore, is just because my older kids object, and I'm not gonna force them to do it, because you wouldn't see very happy kids in my video if I would do that. But anyway, I thought this was gonna be a fun topic to do. And maybe when I'm on the other trails, I'll do the same thing, because to be quite honest, we might find some neater things on the other trail. But anyway, I don't know. So anyway, I know that this was a short video because, again, not as many finds as we normally have, but I hope that it at least inspired you to take a look at what's around you, and you know, don't always just completely accept everything that we're told. Sure, some of the things that we're told are true, many of the things that we're not, though, and it's time to look at things in that way. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one either here or over on Instagram. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.